The Two Plants, a story about growth, struggle, and success. Once upon a summer morning, a young boy traveled to his grandfather's home in the countryside. The sun was shining brightly, the birds were singing, and the air was filled with the scent of fresh grass and flowers. The boy loved spending his holidays there. It was his favorite time of the year, a time when he could escape the noise of the city and enjoy the simple life with his grandpa. Every day the two of them would go for walks in the fields, feed the birds, and sit under the shade of a big mango tree talking about life. The boy admired his grandfather deeply. To him, his grandpa wasn't just an old man. He was wise, kind, and full of stories about the world and its lessons. One afternoon, as they sat together sipping lemonade, the boy turned to his grandfather and said, "Grandpa, when I grow up, I want to become a successful man. Can you tell me how to be successful?" The old man looked at him and smiled. His eyes twinkled with warmth and wisdom. "Of course, my dear," he said softly. "I'll show you." The boy was excited. He expected a magical answer, maybe a secret formula, or a wise saying he could write down and keep forever. But instead, his grandfather stood up, took his walking stick, and said, "Come with me." They walked together down a dusty path to a small plant nursery near the edge of the village. The place was full of greenery, rows and rows of young plants waiting to grow. The smell of wet soil filled the air. The grandfather spoke to the gardener, bought 2 small saplings, and handed one to the boy. "Here," he said, "these 2 plants will teach you the secret to success." The boy looked confused but followed his grandfather home. When they reached the house, the old man took one plant and placed it in a pot inside the living room near the window. Then, he planted the second one outside, in the open garden, where it would be exposed to sunlight, wind, and rain. He then turned to his grandson and asked, "Tell me, which of these 2 plants do you think will grow better?" The boy thought for a moment. He looked at the one inside. It was safe and cozy. Then he looked at the one outside. It was in the open, facing the sun and the wind. He said confidently, "The one inside will grow better, Grandpa. It's safe here. No storms, no animals, no harsh sunlight. The one outside will face too many dangers." The old man simply smiled and said, "Let's see what happens in the future." 4 years later, time passed. Seasons came and went. The boy grew older and wiser. 4 years later, he returned to visit his grandfather again during the summer. He had almost forgotten about the 2 plants until, one day, while having tea, he suddenly remembered that question from years ago. "Grandpa," he said, "do you remember when I asked you how to be successful? You never gave me an answer that day." The old man chuckled and said, "I did, my boy. You just didn't realize it yet. But come with me and I'll show you." They walked toward the corner of the living room where the first plant had been kept. The plant had grown into a small tree. It was green and healthy but limited in size. Its roots were trapped inside the pot. It couldn't spread beyond the space it had been given. Then they went outside to look at the second plant. The moment the boy stepped into the garden, he stopped in amazement. In front of him stood a tall, mighty tree. Its branches spread wide, casting a cool shade over the garden. Birds had built nests in its branches, and its roots ran deep and strong into the earth. It had survived storms, heavy rain, and scorching heat. Yet here it was, flourishing with life and strength. The grandfather looked at the boy and asked gently, "So, my dear, tell me, which of the 2 plants grew more?" The boy smiled and said, "The one outside, of course. But how is this possible, Grandpa? That tree faced storms, wind, and heat. It could have been destroyed, and yet it grew so much bigger and stronger than the one inside." The grandfather nodded, smiling with pride. "Yes, that's the secret I wanted to show you. The plant outside had to fight for its life. It faced challenges every day, strong winds, harsh sunlight, heavy rains. But do you know what those challenges did? They made its roots go deeper into the soil. They made it stronger from within. Every struggle it faced gave it more strength to survive." He then pointed toward the plant inside the house and said, "The one inside was safe. It never faced a single challenge. But because of that, it stayed weak. It never had a reason to grow stronger. It survived, yes, but it never truly thrived. The lesson of growth. The old man placed his hand gently on the boy's shoulder. His voice grew calm and serious. Listen carefully, my boy. In life, if you always choose the easy and comfortable path, you will grow only as much as that plant inside the house. You may be safe, but you'll never reach your full strength. He paused and looked up at the tall tree swaying gently in the breeze. But if you choose to face life's storms, the struggles, the pain, the failures, then you will grow strong like this tree. The very challenges that others fear are the ones that make you powerful. They shape your character, deepen your roots, and prepare you for greater heights. The boy stood quietly, watching the leaves rustle in the wind. He could feel the truth of his grandfather's words sink into his heart. The old man continued, "Never think of problems as obstacles, my child. Think of them as steps toward success. Every challenge is like a test, an opportunity to learn something new about yourself. The world may be hard, but you must be harder. You must be stronger." The boy nodded. He finally understood what his grandfather had been teaching him all along. Success is not about comfort. It's about courage. It's not about avoiding problems, but about growing through them. A deeper meaning. That night, as the boy lay in bed, he couldn't stop thinking about the two plants. He realized how often people run from difficulties believing that comfort equals happiness. But true happiness, he thought, comes from overcoming what once scared us. He whispered to himself, "Just like that tree, I want my roots to be deep and strong. I want to face life, not hide from it." As he grew older, those words became his guiding light. Whenever he faced failures, in school, work, or relationships, he remembered his grandfather's lesson. Instead of feeling defeated, he would ask himself, "What is this challenge trying to teach me?" Every storm he faced only made him stronger, and over the years he became exactly what he had once dreamed of, a successful man. But this success wasn't built on luck or comfort. It was built on courage, persistence, and faith, just like the tree that grew under the open sky. The grandfather's wisdom lives on. Years later, when the boy became a man and his grandfather had passed away, he returned to that same garden. The tree was still there, taller and stronger than ever before. Its branches stretched proudly toward the sky, as if whispering the same message his grandfather once told him. He stood there quietly, placed his hand on the tree trunk and smiled. "Thank you, Grandpa," he said softly. "Now I understand. The storms of life don't break us, they build us." He looked around at the world, full of challenges, uncertainty, and change, and felt no fear. Because now he knew that real success doesn't come from living safely. It comes from living boldly. Final message. Life is not meant to be easy. It's meant to be meaningful. Every obstacle, every setback, every failure is a teacher in disguise. Just like the plant that grew in the open, we grow stronger every time we face difficulties head-on. When the winds of life blow hard against you, don't hide. Stand tall. Let those winds shape your character. Let the rain wash away your fears. Let the sunlight remind you that after every storm, growth follows. Remember, comfort may protect you, but struggle perfects you. Choose the path that challenges you, not the one that shelters you. Because success, like the great tree in the garden, belongs to those who dare to grow through the storms. So, keep rising, keep growing, and never forget, the deeper your roots, the taller you'll rise.